Hi, this is Sharon with Positively Provost, and I also own It's Time Promotions. One thing about owning It's Time Promotions is I get to meet some pretty miraculous people and businesses. So Jake come to us a year ago as he was invited to do the Cowboy Challenge in Chilliwack. And when Jake come to me, I realized what a nice, humble guy he is. So of course, I just connected with you. I think Jake, hey, like it was just like it was a great relationship right off the get-go, and I'm really honored that you come to us for that event. So I'm really, really grateful to you.
Yeah.
Jake, if it's okay, can you explain or can you introduce yourself to everybody out here, please?
Hi guys, I'm Jake Kruidenier. I have JK Performance horses, and I operate through my Terra Ranch. I've been in the country here for about 10 years on and off, and I've been training horses since I was about 12 or 13. Um, just recently more out on my own here in the past few years, and making a start for myself. Um, yeah, that's about everything for you. I've been just colts and a little bit of cutting horses and some ranch horses as well.
Jake, one thing too, when you came in, I have to say all the girls fell in love with your accent.
Oh,
We were like, wow, he can talk to us all day.
it's pretty mild nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Okay, Jake, we're gonna jump right into it because I think there's right now people are at home, and I know there's like probably no competition for people to go, but so let's go into the cutting part of your training right now. That's your expertise, right? Is the cutting?
Yeah, that's my area of focus. That's where I'd like to end up, and mostly doing is you never get out of starting colts and that sort of stuff. But that's where in the long term, my goal is to be able to mostly have cutting horses and that to keep to train and some shows and stuff, which this year was going to be our big year, and with everything going on, it looks like we might not have anything until maybe this fall to
Right.
go to. Yeah.
Yeah, 2020 was going to be our year. The girls and I were on track. We had focuses. We were like, yes, this is our year, and then bam. But it happened to everybody. The whole world is in it, Jake. So
Exactly.
Jake, is there a certain breed of horse for a cutting horse? And I'm sorry if my questions are stupid. I'm new to the horse world.
No, there's no stupid questions. No, they're predominantly quarter horses and stuff, American quarter horses, and a lot of the older, a lot of cowbred lines, not so much into the running lines and the appendixes and stuff like that. It's the traditional cow horse, cowbred quarter horse kind of world that kind of sticks together. They don't have to be registered. They can be a grade horse as well.
Hmm.
Um, and I've had a few that I've been training and that are just grade horses, and they show just as well as something with papers.
So Jake, is it a certain age that these horses need to be trained by? Sorry, again, I'm not sure. Just because like my daughter has a horse and he's got a big butt and he's a quarter horse and he'd be perfect for that, I think. Like I think he could stop on a dime and sit on his haunches. So is there
Yeah,
a certain age that you would prefer to start these horses at?
for the most part, like it's nice to start getting them ready as colts, as sort of 2 year olds. So then, and that's kind of preparation for their futurity year as a 3 year old when they have their first lot of shows in the fall of their 3 year old year. But I've got horses that haven't worked cattle or haven't been shown, and they're 12 and we're getting them going. It it just means that they're at a different level, and you're not going to be competing in aged events. You're going to be competing in more weekend events, and mostly your non-pro and your horse limit, your
Okay,
earning limit events, not your aged events. Yeah.
right.
So,
So you train them more so for the showing, but I guess there's also cowboys that just want them to cut. Like you don't
yeah.
even like a lot of people out there don't even care if they go to show them. They just want
No.
to get the job done, right?
Yeah. Exactly right. And it's actually a really good. It's actually a really good discipline for everything, because it teaches you're teaching your horse to use its body properly, and to use their powerhouse, which is through the loin, and that uses their hocks, which sets them up for pretty well anything and everything. Your turns and some of your maneuvers are going to be a little bit different for different events, but cutting, working the flag, I work the flag on pretty well everything I ride, because it's a good way to get them really broke, really soft, and get them using their bodies properly, so you have less soundness issues in the long term. And like barrel horses, it gets them turning around and using their bodies so that they can clear a barrel better too.
Right. Okay. So it's not okay. That's perfect. Um, oh my God, I'm so excited. I just have so many questions. But so what about, should we talk about the colts? Because you're also a colt trainer. Can you chat about that for us? So is it, so when you get a colt, is it strictly for cutting, or does it just matter? Is it wide open for you?
It's wide open. There's no, it's nice to have a plan in mind for them, but you don't know until you get going where they're going to end up. And sometimes you think you've got one that's going to be a great cow horse, cutting horse, and turns out they don't even want to look at a cow. So I'm pretty open to, I take anything and everything. I generally like to get them nice and young and get a good start on them. The younger they are, the less we have to do with them. Like we'll take them as a 2-year-old and get them started, but we won't be riding them long, hard miles or long periods of time. 15, 20 minutes on their back is plenty as a 2-year-old, and you achieve all with less. So yeah, that one can be a little bit of a pickle for some people. That are still in that they need to be 4 and 5 and big and strong. We generally don't ride them hard enough that their strength becomes a problem.
Right.
We generally starting them young enough, because they're a little bit softer and a little bit weaker, we can get more done with less work and less stress on their joints and that in a shorter period of time. So generally, if I can get them at that sort of 2 or 3 age and 60 to 90 days on them, and that has a pretty solid colt where somebody can take them home, continue on with them, or spell them and then bring them back in for some more time, or start back on them themselves later on.
So cool. So
Yeah.
what's your take on all the groundwork? Because as you know, we've been to clinics with what's his name? I introduced you to him. What was his name again?
Cade. Yeah.
Yeah, Cade. And they're a lot about groundwork. Do you do a lot of groundwork as well?
Yeah, it's the most important part of anything is your foundation, and that groundwork. Everyone's got a little bit different method and a little bit different ideals. Mm-hmm. I know we do things pretty different to what Cade does, but the end result is you're always looking for the same end result, and
right.
And you've got to figure out the best way to get it for yourself to get that. And I've seen here recently, like, we like to rope them up a lot, which is kind of an industry term that's pretty tough to explain. But the idea is that a lot of our horses can end up going where somebody might want to rope and drag calves on them at a branding, or start roping off them. So we like to get them roped up and expose them to that ropes coming across their hocks and between their legs and that sort of stuff. And we generally steer clear of the flag and work more with the big heavy cotton rope.
Right. And so it's just different, same thing, but groundwork for sure for that connection.
Same thing, different method.
Right. Yeah. Different end point, right? Different focus. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So you would take a colt. Sorry, what was the beginning age? Like, what age gets dropped off then? I'm sorry.
They come at all ages, but I like to get them at that 18 months, 2-year-old sort of stage, and 3-year-old too. I'm not too worried about 3-year-olds. I like to have them. I'd like to see them started in that 3-year-old year at the latest. As they get a little bit tougher, and we can't charge different on their ages, because that's not really how it works. It's the same job, so it's kind of hard to charge anymore. But that 4-year-old probably takes twice as much work as the 2-year-old does.
Right, because you had even mentioned prior to recording here about it's nice to even have them halter broke, because you're wasting a lot of your clients' dollars just to do something like that, even, right?
Yeah. If they come halter broke as a 2-year-old, it makes it a lot easier. Like halter breaking something once they get to 2, 3, is a very, very tough ask. Like I will do it, but
Yeah.
they don't have to be perfect. If you can catch them and lead them and load and unload to get them into the barn, that's so much nicer. And it gives me the chance that as soon as I start, I'm starting straight into that groundwork stage.
Right. So
Very
it's
fine.
better for them for their dollar, basically,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, I mean, it's not important,
yeah.
but
No,
okay.
no, it's not important, but you are going to get a little more bang for your buck. It's not going to be that first week or so isn't going to be slow handling, basic handling stuff that a person could do as a yearling or a weanling type thing.
Perfect. And one thing we should probably touch base on too, Jake, just because we talked about it before, and I think it's important because everything is COVID-19. So you guys had to implement protocol there as well, hey?
Yeah, we did implement some measures and stuff, but most of what we do and we're doing at the moment, we try and do all the time for safety of myself, clients, and their horses. We try to make it so we don't have a bunch of clients in the barn all at once wanting to see their horses go. We try and make it so it's one person's coming to drop a horse off. We don't have three people dropping horses off at the same time.
Right.
Think
Okay.
just limiting traffic through the barn and basic personal hygiene and social distancing. With the newest laws and newest regulations that have sort of come through a little while ago here with our gatherings and the closures of golf courses and recreational facilities being completely closed now. You know, we're not able to have lessons, and we can't just have people popping out to look at their horse whenever they like. We've got to be pretty careful there that we stay within those restrictions, and like we want to see this end so we can get back to what we do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing we didn't talk about actually either, Jake, is your lessons that, I mean, right now they're COVID-19, but could we touch
Yeah.
base for when we're ready to rock and roll again?
Yeah, I do offer lessons and that, like on the flag and cattle. If people wanted to get started working the flag or working cattle and stuff, maybe with the idea that maybe they'd like to show, or maybe they'd like to just have some fun and get their horse a little bit better broke. You know, we offer lessons to that extent and that to get people started, and we'd like to have a lot of fun with it. It's not a stressful or concerning environment. We like to keep it light and enjoyable.
So you would actually say if I wanted to bring my daughter to you, she wants to, I don't know why, we don't even, well, now we have a cow. We have a little miniature cow. It's literally this big, and that's as big as he's going to get. And he's
Yeah.
mean. He's so mean. He's an asshole. But anyways, so if she wanted to come and play with her horse, that I think would be good at that. She also wants to do barrels, but something like that. That's something that I would make an appointment with, or make lessons with you, and you would actually get her to chase cows. Is that how that
Yep.
works?
Yeah, you make an appointment and we'll figure out a time that works. And we generally like to start on the flag, and that's so you can get some controls, because we can correct things and work on things a little bit better on that flag because you've got the time to stop.
Well,
You
that
stop.
sounds like fun. She would love it.
Yeah, and then once you get to cows, you've got those things where when we run some calves into the pen, yearlings into the pen, that you've got those buttons and controls kind of figured out where you can set your horse up to work that cow.
That's great, Jake. Jake, do you
Yeah.
do other things besides Horse World? Like, do you have a normal, like, job, like where you have to report into somebody else, or what's going on there?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
do?
I work through my terror ranch at the moment with my business kind of runs through my terror ranch through Ed Mason's business. So I work on the ranch as well,
Right.
and we've got a bunch of cows and a whole bunch of yearlings for this year that we're gonna have out on grass, and a bunch of bred heifers to get replacement heifers to breed and that this year as well.
Perfect. Can you, I know it's more Ed Mason's part, so what are your, I know we're going off key here, I'm sorry, I'm more curious
Nope,
because I'm learning so much stuff by doing these videos and actually getting to meet people and understand stuff.
Yep.
What's happening in the cattle industry? Like, we can't sell cattle right now. What's happening?
Well, that's kind of a tough one. It's got everyone a little bit stumped and a little concerned at where the market's going to end up. Probably not the best person to ask about the market, but but we were going to look more at predominantly grass yearlings this year and that, but we decided with the market being a little bit more volatile that we'd look at looking at running more replacements. So, and trying to be able to market some of those privately throughout the year. Yeah.
So if somebody's looking for beef, they can reach out to Ed, right? Is that like if somebody needs to fill their freezer, is that something that's possible?
No, we're not really working at that kind of thing at the moment. We're working more to the replacement heifers this year.
Okay.
And yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
By this fall, we'll have preg tested and calf replacement heifers, all one brand and ready to package up and that for people to take a look at.
So do you actually, when you're going out to your cattle, you're actually on your horse all the time?
99%.
You don't use a quad, do you? Do you use a quad?
No, definitely not.
Good.
99% of the time we're out with a horse. On occasions, if we're just running out to check something, we'll drive out in the truck and take a look. But to get through and everything, we all with a horse. To all our movements and roundups are all done on horse and that. And we work all our yearlings through with our cutting horses, and that gets them good and quiet and really well handled, that we don't really have to chase anything. It's everything's
awesome. That's so great. I would just love to come and watch such a thing. I think that would be so cool. Yeah. One thing, Jake, I had another freaking thought. Now I forgot about it. Whatever. Oh, I know. So when you're training, how many times have you been hurt?
That's a tough one to answer. Minor, quite a few times. I don't really go to the doctor or anything unless I'm bad, which there's always some aches and pains and bumps and bruises, but everything we do with our horses, whether it's a broke horse or a colt or something that's never been handled, we kind of try and set everything up with the priorities of my safety, the horse's safety, and then the client's safety at the end of our periods, training period, that we try and work everything and take our time to keep everyone and everything safe as possible. We don't like to load horses up and run to the vet, which is probably a little bit hard on the vet's pocketbook there, bottom line, if we're not using it. But we don't want to have to be in there, because that's something that comes back to the client too. We like to keep things safe for them. I don't like to have to take time off, so I try and keep myself out of harm's way too.
So I guess that's where a lot of the groundwork comes in effect, right, too?
Yeah. And that's kind of why I set times. I struggle with the setting a time frame for how long I want something or will have something, because as you work through things, you've got to pick and choose, and you can't miss any steps, and you can't move on until something's right to move on with. Like if I'm sacking a colt out and that and padding them, getting ready to saddle, some colts that might take 5 minutes, some colts that takes an hour. Like there's no frame. Everything, you've got to do everything to keep yourself safe and keep the animals safe too. We don't want to see anybody hurt.
That's really awesome. I love that comment, Jake, and I really appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure all your clients are very grateful for that as well. Yeah. That's good.
That's where our goal is, to keep our clients happy and keep our horses happy, and everyone's,
So Jake, do you have any room right now for colts or for your cutting horses? Like, do you have any spots available right now?
I'm just starting to get a few spots to open up here now. It'll be probably start of May. I'll have some spots here early May opened up, ready to take a few more in May there, and have a few coming that are going to be using horses that I'll use on the ranch, more predominantly on the ranch, not as much in the cutting of or round pen or colts and stuff. I have a few that are coming that I like to mile out. And
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do have spots available. So Jake, I'm going to put I'm going to tag your JK performance on this post when we upload it. And should I
Yep.
share everybody your phone number? Are you cool with that?
Yep. No, that's fine. That'd be great.
Any questions? Okay. All right. Just want to check my notes, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, you know what? Let's end it with something. Can you talk about the Chilliwack, the Cowboy Challenge? I think that's really remarkable. I think, not everybody knows about the Cowboy Challenge. So can you talk about your time frame and what all goes down there?
So these trainers challenges and stuff, they're kind of getting to be a bigger event. There's more of them popping up all the time. The main event has been going for a number of years now, and has probably, in my opinion, probably arguably the biggest and probably the best ones in Canada. And they've teamed up with the Rocking Heart Ranch that also has the Rocking Heart Ranch has their own 60-day challenge every year. So those challenges, you get an unstarted, untouched colt, and the main event in particular, you have 3 days with 2 45-minute sessions a day, and then a final session and on the Sunday, and you take your unstarted colt, where for the most of them, they take a little bit of work. You've got to get them either roped or get them caught in the round pen, and take them from barely handled, to a riding horse to compete at the finals at the end of the weekend, sort of thing. They're a pretty humbling event. Like I'd never done one before when I was invited to that, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. And you kind of teach a clinic while you go, and yeah.
And it's not even, I found when I went to them, I've seen a few, Jake, and it's not even a matter like the ultimate goal is getting through these obstacles, but it's really not the ultimate goal. Sometimes it's just about your personality and your take on that horse. Because like you said before, not every horse might be ready to go through all that. So it's also about the genuine care of that colt also. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that is exactly right. And that's the reason that I love the main event so much, and I enjoyed that one so the way I did, is because it's set up that it's not a competition. It's a challenge. Everyone's on equal ground, and they set it up so you're kind of competing against yourself, not against another trainer. And I went in with the idea that I was kind of just challenging myself. I didn't know if I'd be able to get through it, or if I'd be able to do the clinic part of it or anything like that, being it was my first time. And like the personal growth as just a person and as a trainer was amazing. And I didn't get my colt to where I was able to ride him through that final session. So I bowed out there and left him where he was, being that I didn't want to push him or ruin him, sort of thing. And that's kind of how the main event is set up, and those challenges are set up to be all about the horse and about the horsemanship, not about a buckle or a competition.
So cool. This is why I think you're amazing. Those comments are amazing. Jake, and even I remember you being so nervous before you went. You're like, not even nervous, just didn't know what to expect, right? You had that.
I was baffled. I didn't know what I was walking into. I had no idea what to expect, and I got out to Abbotsford and picked up at the airport, and I was pretty nervous and a little bit shy, and that first afternoon while I was setting up my booth and things, I was kind of dumbfounded at how big and how busy everything was there on the Thursday on the setup day. Then on the Friday morning, you kind of get thrown in the deep end. You have a meeting in the morning, and then they give you, then for the draw, they start passing the microphone around, and you're starting to be and they kind of treat you like a celebrity. And I was kind of a little bit concerned there, but yeah.
Well, I think that's really great. And there's a lesson in what you just said right now. You said that you've grown so much. So you were literally out of your comfort zone, but the reward by going in out of your comfort zone is like tenfold. You become a stronger trainer, you become a stronger person, right? Like, so everybody needs to step out of the comfort zone if they want to get ahead. I totally believe.
I agree 100%. 100%. You know, I came out to Canada the first time when I was 18. Well, yeah, I was just 18, and I jumped on a plane and flew out here and got picked up at the airport by some people I'd never met before, and I was petrified. But
Mhm.
I firmly believe that if you want to be good at what you do or grow personally, you never do it inside your comfort zone. You always have to push the boundaries a little bit. And yeah,
Right. Well, we are very grateful that you jumped on that plane at 18 years old, because yeah,
it's all yeah for the best.
you're a great asset to our community. You know, one thing, like, I'm new to the horse world, and I think I've told you that before. Um, but I find anybody that I've met in this whole horse, and you guys are just so accommodating and so helpful. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's a great atmosphere of people. I just don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, that's what it drew me into the industry, was the the friendships and the camaraderie that you can develop, you know, and not even through competition, just through being able to meet different trainers and different riders and the different people that come together, and everyone has the same long-term goals in mind, you know. Everyone enjoys the same things and wants to be part of doing the same sort of thing, you know. And
Just
yeah,
genuine people, and it's great.
yeah.
One thing,
And
we didn't touch about, Jake, I'm sorry, you go ahead and finish your comment there, because I know it's good.
oh, oh, I was just gonna say, you know, I that's kind of something that I took out of Chilliwack. There was that I got to meet and connect with a whole bunch of different trainers, you know, from the extreme cowboy racing to dressage and show jumping, you know, and everybody has something you can take value out of and learn from, and that, like, it's my favorite part of the industry. Anything and everything counts.
And people were willing to share with you.
Yeah,
I remember you
yeah,
telling me that you reached out to people that were there before, and they were wanting to help and share. Like, that's remarkable.
yeah,
I just think
yeah.
and that's what it's about, is just sharing. Like, even do it for me doing these videos. I've learned so much, and I'm able to help other people just because I get to learn more. Like, it's such a great, rewarding thing.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, like you'd said earlier there, Cade, you'd introduced me to Cade, told me to reach out to Cade, and I'd never met Cade. I'd heard of him and his program, and I get to talking to Cade, and I don't know whether I would have been as well prepared without talking to him, you know. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where the industry, I think, needs to keep pushing to that, where other riders and other trainers are willing to help better each other, and keep the industry growing in the different sports and the different sectors, you know.
hmm And
Yeah,
even, like, just in life, I think, like, even like I find with this whole COVID-19, Jake, like, we need to help each other. Like, like, as a
yeah.
community, even, like, we need to reach out and touch each other and help each other. Not touch literally. We'll get a
Yeah,
ticket.
but
But
yeah,
just generally helping people.
yeah, and it's amazing the things that you see pop up on social media, things that people have started doing more, trying to help people out that are in need a lot more than they were. I think we were getting away from the basic necessities that we needed to kind of stick with,
Mhm.
and we kind of needed a reality check. And it's a
We
shame
did.
this is what had to do it, but
Yeah, even myself, like, a reality check, just a reality check that, because, like, I don't know, like most people, I work too many hours, and I'm known for that. I'm a workaholic, and you know what? All of a sudden, the reality check is, Sharon, it's nice to come home and spend time with your horses and maybe make supper. Like, like, it's just
yeah,
so crazy. Like, I've never took that time before. So,
yeah,
Jake, one thing we didn't talk about is, and last time I spoke to you after Chilliwack, it was a no, and I don't know if you changed your mind. Are you going to be doing any clinics? Is that something that's ever passed in your mind?
yeah. I eventually I will. I probably would like to get a little bit more prepared, sort of thing, for those than jumping in the deep end now. Um, I actually was going to go to the Saskatchewan 4-H horse symposium and do the clinic there this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which has been had to have been cancelled with this, but
Yeah,
I think there's a possibility of maybe doing something online like this through a video type deal. Uh,
cool.
yeah, so I actually really enjoyed the clinic part of of that trainers challenge, and I think, you know, if those things are available and opportunities are there, I think it kind of makes a better horseman of a person to have to explain and put words to what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and actually, you know, like, cause like we've been to Cade's clinics, and it's funny. I took a psycho mare, and he rode that mare the whole clinic, so that was great because we got to watch him implement as well as while he was
Yes.
training, and it was like fantastic. So that was great. But I mean, there's lots of 4-H people that were wanting to do different 4-H clubs that would love to do clinics and stuff too, and
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
back to normal, right? So that's great. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I put your information on there because we're not ready for it right now, but maybe, you know, in the fall or when 4-H commences again, we can do that again. Do you have
Yeah.
slower times, Jake? Like, are you slower over winter then?
No, winter's generally the biggest part of winter is colt starting. Like generally, there's a lot of colts starting through the winter, and this winter I've been from December, from Christmas Day till, well, hasn't stopped yet. I've been really busy. I haven't slowed down since Christmas. I think Christmas Day was my last slow day, and I've been pretty well booked solid since.
Oh, good for you. I love hearing that kind of stories. That's perfect. And what
Yeah.
a great, you have a great boss, by the way. I love Ed. I think he's a genuine, awesome guy as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he is great boss.
You've been with him for that many years. How long have you been with Ed?
On and off. I came out. I first worked for Ed in 2000 and ended 2011, started 2012. Then I was back at home for a little while, and then I came back and I was riding for myself for a couple of years here at Randy's place, and
Yeah.
and I trained a couple of horses, had a couple of horses in training of Ed's, and then with visa paperwork and stuff, I needed to have a real job. So, and Ed went out of his way and kind of set this deal up. So I was able to have a job and get another visa kind of thing to stay on for a while longer. He's been great. Probably would
great.
otherwise.
You know, like it's just like the whole small town community, and I love when people step up and help one another. So that's really great to know about Ed. So in case people don't know, Ed also owns Aztec in town. So that's really cool.
Yes.
Okay, so I think if there's anything else you want to share with that I forgot about, Jake, before I hit end record.
No, I think that's pretty good.
We did a good job. I think we did a bang on job there, Jake.
Yeah, no, I think we covered everything really well.
Okay, so again, I'm going to put your Facebook profile and your phone number. Do you want me to put your email on there too, or just your phone number? Your email I can put on there too? Okay.
You can put my email on there too.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to hit end record. You stay on with me, Jake, so we can chat, okay?
Sounds
Thank
good.
you, everybody. Thanks for joining us.